Humanity shocked the galaxy. It wasn't meant to kill like this aired. 2 Sergeant Nari Choi fired another burst from her rifle and watched 3 Corval creatures explode into green ichor. Around her, the makeshift barricade held. Barely. Colonists who had been farmers and teachers yesterday now held weapons with shaking hands. "Conserve ammo," Nari shouted. "Short bursts only." 5 days. They had been fighting for 5 days. New Busan had 12,000 people. Now only 8,000 remained. The colony's small security force of 20 had been overwhelmed in the first hour. Nari had taken command because someone had to. The Corval came in waves. They learned. They adapted. When the humans used the construction mechs as weapons, the Corval started targeting the fuel lines. When the colonists fortified the community center, the Corval dug tunnels underneath. 16-year-old Minho ran up with another ammunition box. His face was covered in dirt and blood. Not his blood. His mother had died on day 2. "Last box," Minho said. His voice did not shake. He was beyond fear now. Beyond everything except survival. "Then we use rocks," Nari said. She meant it. A new sound cut through the air. Engines, big ones. Nari looked up and saw them. Ships. Human ships. The defense fleet had arrived. Everyone down. Nari screamed. The sky turned to fire. Missiles streaked down in precise patterns. The Corval swarm that had surrounded the community center simply ceased to exist. The barricades shook from the shockwaves. When the dust cleared, nothing moved outside except small fires. Nari's radio crackled. "Ground forces, this is Commander Taeyang Park of the EDF Retribution. Hold your position. Marines are landing in 2 minutes." Nari wanted to cry. She wanted to laugh. She did neither. "Acknowledged, Commander. We're not going anywhere." Dropships screamed down. Armored Marines poured out like a steel flood. They moved fast, weapons up, covering angles. Professional, deadly. They swept through the colony with brutal efficiency, clearing every building, every tunnel, every shadow. Nari watched a Marine squad encounter a group of Corval. The creatures charged. The Marines did not run. They formed up, picked targets, and fired in controlled bursts. 8 creatures died in 8 seconds. "Sector clear," the squad leader reported calmly. Up in orbit, observer Creshton watched the human fleet with growing horror. The Corval had sent 37 ships to attack the colony. 37 ships that had destroyed 3 Union worlds before the Union could organize champion responses. The humans had sent 12 ships, and they had not hailed the Corval, had not offered terms, had not asked for negotiations. They had simply opened fire. Creshton watched human vessels move in patterns he had never seen. They did not line up for honorable combat. They did not wait for the Corval to respond. 3 human ships would target 1 Corval vessel from different angles. Missiles and railgun rounds would hit simultaneously. The Corval ship would explode. Then the human ships would move to the next target. "This is not warfare," Creshton whispered. "This is extermination." The Corval tried to adapt. They scattered their formation. The human ships split into hunting packs and pursued. The Corval tried to ram. The human ships dodged and fired at the engines, leaving the Corval ships drifting helplessly. Then the humans would target life support. "Why do they target the engines first?" Creshton's aide asked. "To make them helpless," Creshton said, his voice hollow. "Then they kill them slowly. In 4 hours it was over. 37 Corval ships destroyed, not 1 human ship lost. The human fleet regrouped in orbit, weapons still hot, ready for more. Commander Taeyang Park stood on the bridge of the Retribution and watched the cleanup operations. Marines were still sweeping the colony. Medical teams were treating the wounded. Recovery teams were collecting the dead. "Final casualty report," his executive officer said quietly. 4,000 colonists dead, 1,600 wounded, 23 Marines killed in the ground operation. Taeyang closed his eyes. Too many, far too many. But it could have been worse. It would have been worse if they had waited 3 months for Union champions. "Sir, we're getting transmissions from across Union space," the communications officer reported. "They're broadcasting the battle footage everywhere." "What are they saying?" The officer hesitated. "They're afraid, sir. They're saying we're monsters." Taeyang looked at the colony below, at the fire still burning, at the crater where the elementary school had been. "We saved 8,000 lives today." "Yes, sir. Make sure they know that." Down in the colony, Nari found Minho sitting on a pile of rubble. He stared at nothing. She sat down next to him. "You did good, kid." Nari said. I killed them, Minho said. I used to think killing was wrong, but I killed them and I felt nothing. What does that make me? Nari was quiet for a moment. Human, she finally said. We're built to survive, to fight when we have to. That's not evil. That's just what we are. The Marines, Minho said. They were so calm, like they've done this before. They have, Nari said. Humanity has been fighting since before we had language. We know how to do this. We're good at it. She looked at the sky. Maybe too good. A Marine medic approached them. You two need medical attention? We're fine, Nari said. You're bleeding, the medic pointed out. Nari looked down. She was. She had not even noticed. Later, the medic nodded and moved on. There were others who needed help more. Commander Taiyang's shuttle landed near the community center. He stepped out in full combat armor, his helmet under his arm. Colonists stared at him, some with gratitude, some with fear. He found Nari and Minho. You're Sergeant Choi? Nari stood and saluted. Yes, sir. I read your reports. You held for 5 days with improvised weapons and civilian volunteers. That's remarkable. We did what we had to, Nari said. Taeyang looked at Minho. How old are you, son? 16, sir. You should be in school. School's gone, sir. They burned it down. Taeyang's jaw tightened. He turned to look at the sky where his fleet still orbited. The galaxy doesn't understand what we did here. They think we're savages, monsters, are we? Minho asked. Taeyang looked back at him. We're survivors, and we protect our own. He gestured at the colony. They didn't expect you to fight back. The Corval thought humans would be easy prey. They were wrong. What happens now? Nari asked. Now Ambassador Yuna has to explain to the Galactic Union why we just killed 40,000 Corval in 4 hours. Why we didn't offer surrender. Why we didn't send champions. Taeyang smiled grimly. Good luck to her. Observer Kreshton sat in his ship and prepared his report. His hands shook as he typed. He had been sent to monitor humanity's champion response to the attack. He had expected 1 or 2 human warriors in an arena, perhaps some negotiation. What he had witnessed was something else entirely. The humans had mobilized a fleet, a real fleet, with weapons that scared him, with tactics that he did not understand, with a cold efficiency that made his blood run cold. The worst part was the humans themselves. They had not seemed angry. They had not raged or roared. They had simply executed their mission with the calm professionalism of people who had done this many times before. We have made a terrible mistake, Kreshton said to his aide. We welcomed predators into the Union. They saved the colony, his aide said. They exterminated the attackers, Kreshton corrected. Do you understand the difference? There was no capture, no surrender, just death. He looked at his report. The Council must know. The galaxy must know. Humanity is not like us. His finger hovered over the send button. Once he sent this, everything would change. The galaxy's peaceful existence would shatter. Fear would spread, but they needed to know the truth. He pressed send on the Horizon's promise, racing to catch up with the fleet. Captain Jiho received an urgent transmission from Ambassador Yuna. Emergency council session in 2 days, Yuna said. She looked exhausted. They want answers about New Busan. Jiho, they're terrified. They think we're going to conquer the galaxy. Jiho thought about the colony, about the dead children, about Sergeant Nari and young Minho, about the Marines who had died taking back the settlement. Tell them the truth, Jiho said. We didn't choose to be hunters, but we'll hunt anything that threatens innocent people. If that scares them, so be it. Yuna nodded slowly. This is going to change everything. It already has, Jiho said and closed the channel. Humanity shocked the galaxy. It wasn't meant to kill like this. Part 1. Captain Jiho stood on the bridge of the Horizon's promise and watched the impossible become real. Through the massive viewport, a structure floated in space that made Earth's largest space stations look like toys. The Galactic Union's greeting platform stretched for kilometers, covered in lights that pulsed in colors he had never seen before. We're really here, Dr. Hanakwan whispered beside him. Her hands trembled as she clutched her data pad. First contact. We're making first contact, Jiho smiled. After 200 years of searching the stars and finding nothing, humanity had finally discovered they were not alone. 3 months ago, the Union had detected Earth's FTL test flight and sent a welcoming committee. Now humanity's best and brightest were about to meet the galaxy. Incoming transmission. the communications officer announced. The view screen flickered, and a being appeared. It looked almost like a tall deer standing on two legs, with soft blue fur and enormous dark eyes. Its mouth moved, but the words that came through the translator were calm and gentle. "Welcome, humans of Earth. I am Council Prime Veltharan. We have waited long to meet you." Ambassador Yuna stepped forward. She had practiced this moment 1,000 times. "Council Prime, on behalf of humanity, we thank you for your welcome. We come in peace and friendship." Veltharan's face seemed to smile. "As do all who join the Union. Please come aboard. There is much to discuss." The next 6 hours changed everything Jiho thought he knew about the universe. The Union was ancient, over 10,000 years old. 47 different species lived together in perfect harmony. They had technology that seemed like magic. Cities floated in the clouds of gas giants. Ships could cross the galaxy in days. Disease and hunger had been eliminated centuries ago, but something felt strange to Jiho. He could not place it at first. Dr. Hana figured it out during the grand tour. She pulled Jiho aside in a corridor filled with aliens going about their business. Some looked like giant birds. Others resembled walking plants. One species seemed to be made of living crystal. "Do you notice anything odd?" Hana asked quietly. Jiho looked around. "They're all different?" "No, look at their eyes. Look at how they move." Hana's voice dropped lower. "Captain, every single species here evolved from prey animals. Not one predator." Jiho blinked. Now that she said it, he could see it clearly. The way they walked in groups, the way their eyes were positioned on their heads to see in all directions, the way they startled at sudden movements. These were not hunters. "These were the hunted. Are you sure?" Jiho asked. Hana nodded. "I've been scanning their biology all day. Herbivores, omnivores that prefer plants, filter feeders. The Union is a coalition of prey species. We might be the first predators they've ever met." That night, in their quarters, the human delegation talked in worried whispers. Ambassador Yuna wanted to keep this information quiet. No need to scare their new friends. But Jiho wondered what it would mean for Earth's membership. The next day, the Union held a demonstration of their military. Jiho expected warships and weapons. What he got was very different. 2 champions entered an arena. They represented 2 species that had a dispute over mining rights to an asteroid belt. Both wore padded armor. Both carried staffs with soft ends. They bowed to each other, then began to push and shove gently. "This is their military?" whispered one of Jiho's officers. After 20 minutes, one champion yielded. The crowd cheered. The dispute was resolved. No one was hurt. Council Prime Veltharan explained proudly, "We have not had a death in military conflict for over 300 years. Violence is primitive. We have evolved beyond it." Jiho forced himself to smile and nod, but inside his stomach twisted. Humanity had not evolved beyond violence. Earth's history was written in blood. Wars that killed millions, weapons that could destroy cities. Even now, even with FTL travel and space colonies, humans still had weapons, still had soldiers, still knew how to kill. The Union reviewed Earth's history next. They watched recordings of World War II, the bombs, the Holocaust. They saw the Middle East conflicts, the cyber wars, the corpo wars of the 22nd century. Ambassador Yuna had tried to explain each one, to provide context. But the Union representatives looked sick. "Surely this is your past," Veltharan said gently. "Your species has grown beyond this, yes?" "Yes," Yuna lied smoothly. "We have moved past such things." Hana gave Jiho a look. They both knew the truth. Humanity had gotten better, but violence was still in their nature. Every human military ship had weapons that could crack a planet. Every colony had armed security. Old habits died hard, but the Union seemed to accept Yuna's words. After 2 weeks of negotiations, humanity was granted provisional membership. They were given territory on the frontier, far from the core worlds. Jiho suspected the Union wanted to keep the violent newcomers at a distance. The Horizons promised, prepared to return home with the good news. Earth would join the galactic community. It was a dream come true. Then the distress signal arrived. Jiho was in his quarters when the alert sounded. He ran to the bridge in seconds. "Report. Emergency transmission from New Busan Colony," the communications officer said, her face pale. "They're under attack." The view screen showed chaos. Buildings burning, people screaming. And creatures, insect-like things the size of cars swarming through the streets. They moved fast. They moved hungry. "This is Sergeant Nari at New Busan. A voice shouted over the sounds of weapons fire. We're under attack by unknown hostiles. They're everywhere. They're killing everyone. We need help now. The transmission cut to static. Jiho turned to the Union liaison officer on his bridge. What are those things? The alien's face showed pure terror. The Korval swarm. They exist outside the Union. They're parasites. They consume everything. The alien's voice shook. We must contact the council. They will send champions. How long? Jiho demanded. The council must debate. Choose the champions. Perhaps 3 months. 3 months? Jiho felt rage building in his chest. 12,000 humans are on that colony. We must follow proper procedure, the alien said nervously. Jiho looked at his crew. He saw the same anger on their faces, the same predatory instinct awakening. For 10,000 years, the Union had lived in peace because nothing had truly threatened them. The Korval avoided Union space because it was not worth the trouble. But now the Korval had found easier prey. They had found humans, alone on the frontier. Weak. Unprotected. The Korval had made a terrible mistake. Jiho opened a channel to Earth. This is Captain Jiho of the Horizon's Promise. New Busan is under attack. We are returning home to organize a response. Understood, came the reply from Earth Defense Command. We're mobilizing the fleet now. How long until you arrive? 5 days. The fleet will be ready in 4. Jiho looked at the Union liaison. The alien was confused. But the champions, the proper procedure. We don't have champions, Jiho said quietly. We have soldiers, and they're about to learn what happens when you attack humanity. Outside the viewport, the Horizon's Promise turned toward Earth. Behind them, the galaxy continued its peaceful existence. That peace had 4 days left to live. Humanity shocked the galaxy. It wasn't meant to kill like this part. The council chamber felt cold. Ambassador Yuna stood in the center of a circular platform, while 47 species looked down at her from elevated seats. The air itself seemed oppressed down with judgment. Council Prime Veltheron spoke first. His gentle voice carried across the massive space. Ambassador Yuna, we have reviewed the recordings from New Busan. We must ask you to explain what we witnessed. Yuna stood straight. She had practiced this speech 100 times. The Korval attacked our colony. We responded to defend our people. We saved 8,000 lives. You killed 40,000 Korval, another counselor said. This one looked like a walking flower, petals trembling with emotion. 40,000 in 4 hours. How is this possible? Dr. Hanakwan stepped forward. She had been allowed to attend as an expert witness. May I explain the biological context? Veltheron nodded. Please do. Hana activated a holographic display. It showed evolutionary trees. Every species in this union evolved as prey animals. Your ancestors survived by hiding, fleeing, or forming groups. Violence was what happened to you, not what you did. The display changed to show human evolution. Humanity evolved differently. We were apex predators. For 200,000 years, we were the ones doing the hunting. It shaped our biology, our psychology, our society. This is known, Veltheron said. We reviewed your history. We understood you came from violence, but we believed you had evolved beyond it. We have, Yuna said quickly. We rarely fight among ourselves anymore. We have laws, peace treaties, international cooperation. Then explain the footage, a counselor demanded. The being looked like a massive turtle standing upright. Your ships did not hail the Korval, did not offer terms. They simply attacked. Captain Jiho, standing beside Yuna, spoke up. The Korval were actively killing our civilians. Every second we wasted on negotiation meant more dead children. We prioritized saving lives. By taking lives, the turtle counselor said. Yes, Jiho said flatly. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. The display screens showed the battle footage again. Yuna had watched it dozens of times, but it still made her sick. Not because it was violent, but because of how it looked to prey species. The human ships moved like wolves hunting deer. They surrounded their targets. They struck from multiple angles. They targeted vital systems first, crippling before killing. It was coordinated, efficient, terrifying. You used tactics we do not understand, Veltheron said quietly. Your ships did not engage in honorable combat. They hunted? Yes, Jiho said again. That is what we do. A new counselor stood. This one looked almost human, but with silver skin and 4 arms. He spoke with more sympathy in his voice than the others. I am Counselor Dreth. I believe humanity acted to protect their people. This is understandable. Thank you, Una said, feeling a spark of hope. However, Dreth continued, the method concerns us all. In 10,000 years of Union history, our bloodiest conflict resulted in 300 deaths. It was considered a catastrophic tragedy. You achieved that number in minutes and did not stop. You did not stop until every enemy was dead. Hana pulled up new data. In human history, this is a small battle. Our World War II killed over 60 million people. Our cyber wars killed billions through infrastructure collapse. By our standards, New Busan was a minor skirmish. The silence that followed was absolute. Una wanted to tell Hana to stop talking, but the truth was already out there. Billions, Veltharan repeated. You killed billions of your own species. We were not proud of it, Una said. That is why we changed. Why we built a better society. Why we reached for the stars. But the capability remains, the Turtle Counselor said. You still have these weapons. You still know these tactics. You still remember how to kill on a massive scale. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. Dai Kim, Earth's Secretary of Defense, had joined the session remotely. He wore a simple suit, but his presence commanded attention. Members of the Council, Day said, I understand your fear. You see us as monsters, as killers. And you are not wrong. We are capable of terrible violence. The chamber remained silent. But you are overlooking something important, Day continued. We chose not to use that violence on each other. We could have destroyed ourselves 100 times over. We had the weapons. We had the hate. But we chose peace instead. This is supposed to comfort us? The Flower Counselor asked. No, Day said. It is supposed to make you think. For 10,000 years you have lived in peace because nothing truly threatened you. The Korval avoided you. Pirates found easier targets. You never had to face real danger. We have champions, Veltharan said. You have theater, Dai said bluntly. Your champions push each other with padded sticks. That works when both sides agree to the rules. The Korval do not follow your rules. They kill and consume and move on. When they attacked our colony, should we have sent one champion to face them? No one answered. We did not choose to be born as predators, Day said. But we did choose what to do with that nature. We hunt only those who threaten the innocent. Judge us by that choice. The counselors conferred among themselves in whispers. Una could not hear what they said, but she could see fear on their faces. Not just fear of humanity, fear of what humanity represented. The galaxy was not safe. It never had been. They had just been lucky. Now that luck had run out, and the prey species of the Union had to face the reality that they were not prepared for real threats. After an hour of debate, Veltharan spoke again. We have reached a decision. Humanity will be allowed to remain in the Union under the following conditions. First, human military vessels will be restricted to human territory. Second, human weapons technology will not be shared with other species. Third, humanity will submit to regular inspections to ensure compliance. Una felt anger flash through her. You are putting us in a cage. We are protecting the galaxy, Veltharan said. And perhaps protecting you from yourselves. Jiho touched Una's arm. Accept it, he whispered. We can negotiate better terms later. Una wanted to argue, wanted to rage. But she was a diplomat. She swallowed her pride. We accept your terms. Then this session is concluded, Veltharan said, as the counselors filed out. Counselor Dreth approached Una. He looked around to make sure they were not overheard, then spoke quietly. Ambassador, I must warn you. The Korval attack was not random. Una froze. What do you mean? I have heard rumors. Whispers in the council. Some believe the Korval were pointed at your colony deliberately. To test you, to see what you would do. That is insane, Jiho said. Perhaps, Dreth said. But think about it. The Korval have avoided Union space for centuries. Suddenly they attack the one human colony on the frontier. The timing is suspicious. Who would do this? Una demanded. Those who fear what humanity represents. Those who believe predators cannot be trusted. Those who want the Union to act against Earth before humanity grows stronger. Dreth glanced back at the empty chamber. Be careful, Ambassador. You have enemies you do not know about. Dreth walked away, leaving Una and Jiho alone in the vast chamber. Do you believe him? Jiho asked. I don't know, Yuna said. But if he is right, New Busan was just the beginning. Back on Earth, Dae Kim met with military commanders in a secure bunker. The council session had been difficult, but he had expected resistance. What bothered him was Counselor Dreth's message, which had been forwarded to him privately. A conspiracy, General Bora said. She commanded Earth's defense forces. They sacrificed a human colony to make us look dangerous? If Dreth is telling the truth, yes, Dae said. Then we need to find proof, Captain Jiho said via video link. He was still at the Union Station. We need to expose them. Or we need to prepare for war, Bora said. No, Dae said firmly. We just convinced the galaxy we are not monsters. Starting a war would prove them right. Then what do? Bora asked. Dae looked at the star map on the wall. Earth was so small, so isolated, so vulnerable. We watch, we wait, and we make sure that if someone else is coming after us, we are ready. On a ship far from Union space, 3 figures met in secret. They wore holographic disguises to hide their identities, but their voices carried determination. The humans revealed their nature at New Busan, the first figure said. Now the council fears them. Good. Fear is not enough, the second figure said. The council placed restrictions, but they allowed humans to remain. We need them expelled. Or eliminated, the third figure added. Patience, the first figure said. We will arrange another incident. This time it will look like human aggression. The council will have no choice but to act. What if humanity discovers our involvement? The second figure asked. Then we will have proven our point, that predators are too dangerous to live among civilized species. The first figure smiled behind their disguise. Either way, we win. Ambassador Yuna sat in her quarters and stared at the reports from New Busan. 4,000 dead. Most of them civilians. Children, families, people who had just wanted to build a new life among the stars. Humanity had saved 8,000. But they had done it by killing 40,000 Korval. The galaxy saw only the killing. They did not see the alternative. They did not understand that without human intervention, all 12,000 colonists would have died. Dr. Hana entered without knocking. Humanity shocked the galaxy. It wasn't meant to kill like this part. 6 months had passed since New Busan. Commander Taeyang Park stood on the bridge of his new command, the Sentinel, and watched 3 alien freighters pass through human-protected space. They were not human ships. They were from frontier species that had asked Earth for protection. Third convoy this week, his executive officer noted. Taeyang nodded. The Union's restrictions had backfired. Instead of isolating humanity, they had made human protection valuable. Smaller species on the frontier saw what happened at New Busan. They saw that humans would actually fight, actually protect, not just send champions to wave sticks around. Sir, incoming transmission from the Shadow Runner. Captain Jiho reports his investigation is complete. Taeyang felt his pulse quicken. Put him through. Jiho appeared on screen. He looked tired. He had spent 6 months chasing leads across Union space. Taeyang, we have proof. The New Busan attack was deliberate. Show me. Jiho transmitted files. Data trails. Communication intercepts. Financial records. 3 council members hired smugglers to provide the Korval with intelligence about New Busan. They told the Korval exactly when the colony would be vulnerable. Exactly how many defenders it had. Taeyang felt cold rage settle in his stomach. Who? Counselor Veltherin, Counselor Prennet, and Counselor Dreth. Dreth? Taeyang was surprised. He seemed sympathetic. He played both sides, Intelligence Officer Sora Lee said, appearing beside Jiho on screen. She had been leading the investigation. Dreth warned Ambassador Yuna about the conspiracy to make us trust him. But he is part of it. He wants humanity expelled so badly that he sacrificed 4,000 colonists to make it happen. Why? Taeyang demanded. Fear, Sora said simply. They believe humanity will eventually dominate the galaxy. They want to stop us now while we are still weak. We saved the galaxy from having the Korval running wild, Taeyang said. They do not see it that way, Jiho said. They see us as a bigger threat than the Korval, and they are planning something worse. Sora pulled up new intelligence. We intercepted communications. They have hired mercenaries. The plan is to stage an attack on Union Prime itself. The attackers will be flying ships with fake human identifications. The galaxy will think humanity attacked the Union capital. When? Taeyang asked. 3 days, Sora said. Maybe less. Taeyang looked at the star charts. Union Prime was deep in Union space. Human ships were restricted from entering that area. If they went there, it would be seen as an act of war. But if they did not go, the false flag attack would succeed, and Earth would be blamed anyway. "We need to expose the conspiracy," Jiho said. "Ambassador Yuna is preparing to broadcast the evidence on all channels. But we need to stop the attack too. We cannot reach Union Prime in time," Taeyang said. "Not with our restrictions." "Actually, we can," his navigation officer said. She had been running calculations. "If we take the direct route and ignore the flight restrictions, we can get there in 2 days. That would mean crossing through protected Union space," Taeyang said. "They will see us coming. They will think we are attacking." "Yes, sir," the officer agreed. Taeyang looked at Jiho. "What does Ambassador Yuna say?" "She says do it. Expose the truth and stop the attack, whatever it takes." On Union Prime, a young human named Isol worked at the Earth Embassy. She was a civilian liaison, helping aliens understand human culture. She had no military training, no weapons, just a job she loved and faith that the galaxy could be a better place. When Sora's message reached her, Isol felt her world collapse. A false flag attack, here, on Union Prime. Thousands of innocents would die and humanity would be blamed. The message included one more order. "Evacuate civilians from the target zones. Do not tell them why. Do not cause panic. Just get them out." Isol looked at the target zones, government buildings, public squares, schools. The mercenaries were going to hit population centers to maximize casualties. She could not tell the truth without exposing the investigation. She could not warn the authorities without proof. So Isol did the only thing she could do. She lied. "Fire drill," Isol told the alien school administrator. "Union-wide safety test. Please evacuate the building." "But we had a drill last month," the administrator protested. "New regulations," Isol said with a smile. "Better safe than sorry." She repeated the lie at 6 different locations. Fire drills, gas leaks, building inspections, anything to get people out. Some aliens believed her, some were suspicious, but most evacuated. Isol knew she was risking everything. If she was wrong, she would look crazy. If she was right, she might save thousands. Either way, her career was over. She made peace with that. Commander Taeyang's fleet jumped into Union space and immediately started broadcasting. "This is Commander Taeyang Park of the Earth Defense Fleet. We have evidence of a conspiracy against humanity. We are transmitting it now on all channels. We are also detecting an imminent attack on Union Prime by mercenary forces. We are moving to intercept." Alarm screamed across Union Prime. Unknown human ships were approaching. They were armed. They were broadcasting strange claims. Union defense forces scrambled to respond. Council Prime Veltaran watched from the council chamber and felt panic rise. The humans had discovered the plan. Somehow they knew, and now they were coming. "Activate all defenses," Veltaran ordered. "Prepare to repel the human attack." "But the evidence they broadcast," an aide said. "It implicates you in the New Busan conspiracy." "Lies," Veltharan said. "Human propaganda. They are trying to justify their attack on us." Deep in the Union defense fleet, Admiral Rintal watched the human ships approach. He had seen the footage from New Busan. He knew what human weapons could do. His ships were not prepared for this. "Orders, sir?" his tactical officer asked. Rintal looked at the evidence the humans were broadcasting. Communication logs, financial records. It looked real, very real. But Veltharan said it was lies. Who did he believe? The council that had led the Union for 10,000 years? Or the predators who had killed 40,000 Korval in 4 hours? "Hold position," Rintal ordered. "Do not fire unless fired upon." But the council ordered. "I said hold position," Rintal repeated. "Let us see what the humans do." The mercenary fleet appeared on sensors. 12 ships, flying with fake human identification codes, heading straight for Union Prime. Their weapons were charging. Commander Taeyang saw them. All ships combat formation. Target the mercenary vessels, broadcasting on all frequencies. We are engaging hostile forces that plan to attack Union Prime. We will disable them and take them alive for trial. The Union Defense Forces watched in confusion as the human fleet split. Some ships moved to intercept the mercenaries. Others moved to protect Union Prime itself. They were not attacking the planet. They were defending it. The mercenaries realized their plan had failed. They opened fire on the human ships. Taeyang's fleet returned fire with precision that shocked every observer. The first mercenary ship took 3 missiles to its engine section. It went dark, drifting, dead in space but intact. "Disable, not destroy," Taeyang ordered. "I want prisoners." The battle lasted 20 minutes. 12 mercenary ships versus 6 human vessels. Every mercenary ship was disabled. Not destroyed, disabled, their crews alive, ready for interrogation. Union observers could not believe what they saw. The humans could have destroyed the mercenaries easily. Instead, they had carefully targeted engines, weapons, life support systems, taking each ship offline without killing the crews. "They are showing restraint," Admiral Rintal said quietly. "They could have killed everyone, but they chose not to." On the surface, Counselor Dreth tried to escape. He had a private ship waiting. But Sergeant Nari Choi was waiting at the spaceport. She had arrived on a secret mission hours ago. "Going somewhere?" Nari asked. Her rifle was not pointed at him. Yet Dreth froze. "This is illegal. Humans are not allowed." "You murdered 4,000 colonists," Nari said. Her voice was ice. "New Busan, you sent the Corval to my colony. To my people." Dreth looked at her, at the cold rage in her eyes, at the weapon in her hands. He was alone. No one would stop her if she shot him. "You cannot kill me," Dreth said. "That would prove you are monsters." Nari stared at him for a long moment. Every part of her wanted to pull the trigger, wanted to make him pay for what he had done to her colony, to Minho's mother, to 4,000 innocent people. She lowered her rifle. "You are right. We are not monsters. We are soldiers, and soldiers follow laws." She pulled out restraints. "You are under arrest for conspiracy to commit mass murder." Dreth sagged in relief. Then Sergeant Nari punched him hard enough to break his nose. That was for New Busan. In orbit, Ambassador Yuna broadcast the full evidence to every news outlet in the galaxy. The proof was undeniable. 3 council members had conspired to frame humanity, had hired mercenaries, had planned to kill thousands of Union civilians and blame Earth. The galaxy watched. The galaxy learned. And the galaxy had to choose who to believe. Commander Taeyang stood on his bridge and watched Union Prime below. His fleet had weapons charged and ready. He could destroy the capital, could kill billions, could prove the council right that humans were monsters. Instead, he opened a channel to Admiral Rintal. "Admiral, we have disabled the hostile forces. We are transmitting proof of the conspiracy. Our mission is complete." Humanity shocked the galaxy. It wasn't meant to kill like this Part 5. The council chamber was full. Every species in the Union had sent representatives. The gallery was packed with observers. News feeds from across the galaxy watched as 3 former council members stood in restraints: Veltharan, Prennet, and Dreth, accused of conspiracy, of mass murder, of attempting to start a war. Council Prime Pro Tem Korshal, who had taken leadership after Veltharan's arrest, spoke with a heavy voice. "The evidence is clear. You hired mercenaries to attack Union Prime. You provided intelligence to the Corval that led to the New Busan massacre. You conspired to frame humanity for crimes they did not commit. Why?" Veltharan stood straight despite his chains. "Because I was protecting the galaxy. Humanity is dangerous. They are predators. They cannot be trusted to exist peacefully among civilized species. So you killed 4,000 humans to prove they were violent?" Korshal asked. "I was trying to show the galaxy what they are capable of," Veltharan said. "And I was right. Look at what they did. They killed 40,000 Corval in hours. They could do the same to us." "But they did not," a voice said from the gallery. All eyes turned. A small alien stood up. He looked like a young deer with soft eyes and trembling legs. "I am Peshtik. I was at Union Prime during the mercenary attack. I saw the human ships arrive." Peshtik walked down to the chamber floor. His voice shook but grew stronger as he spoke. "I was terrified. We all were. We thought the humans had come to kill us, but they did not. They broadcast evidence. They warned us. They protected us from the mercenaries." He turned to look at Veltharan. "You say humans are dangerous." "You are correct. They are very dangerous. But danger is not the same as evil. A fire is dangerous, but it can warm your home or cook your food. Humanity is a fire. They can destroy, yes, but they can also protect." Ambassador Yuna sat in the human section and felt tears in her eyes. She had not expected this. had not expected a Union citizen to defend humanity. Dr. Hana Kwan sat beside her. The galaxy is learning, Hana whispered. Korshal spoke again. The conspiracy has been exposed. The 3 accused will be tried under Union law. But we must address the larger question. What do we do about humanity? Another counselor stood. Admiral Rintal had been given a temporary seat on the council after his actions during the crisis. I have a proposal. We were wrong to restrict humanity. We treated them as criminals when they were victims. I propose we lift all restrictions and offer formal apologies. Apologies are not enough, said another counselor. We need to change. For 10,000 years we have lived in peace because we were lucky. The Korval could have destroyed us at any time. We just never interested them. Other threats exist beyond our borders. We have been blind to them. Korshal nodded slowly. What do you suggest? We learn from humanity, Rintal said. They offer to train our defense forces, not to make us violent, but to make us capable, to give us the tools to protect ourselves when champions and negotiations fail. The chamber erupted in argument. Some counselors agreed, others protested. The debate raged for hours. Finally, Korshal called for order. We will vote. All those in favor of accepting humanity's offer to train our defense forces? The vote was close, but it passed. 3 months later, the first Union Defense Academy opened on a neutral world. Commander Taeyang Park stood at attention as the first class of students arrived. They came from 20 different species. All volunteers, all afraid but willing to learn. Sergeant Nari Choi was there too. She had been asked to teach ground combat tactics. Remember, she told the students on their first day, we are not teaching you to be killers. We are teaching you to protect. There is a difference. A student raised a tentacle. But how do we know when to fight? When violence is justified? Nari thought about New Busan, about Minho, about the choice she made every day to be a soldier instead of a murderer. You fight when the innocent are threatened, when all other options have failed. When protection requires it, and you stop the moment the threat is neutralized. We call it the Predator's Code. The Predator's Code? Another student asked. Nari nodded. Rule 1, never hunt for pleasure. Rule 2, never take more than necessary. Rule 3, protect the weak. Rule 4, know when to stop. She looked at each student. These are human rules. We evolved them over thousands of years. They are how we went from savage killers to defenders. Captain Jiho taught naval tactics. He showed Union officers how to coordinate fleet movements, how to target enemy systems, how to disable instead of destroy when possible. Your champions are brave, Jiho told his class, but bravery without skill is just sacrifice. We teach you skill. We teach you to survive. We teach you to win. Dr. Hana Kwan established cultural exchange programs. She helped Union species understand human psychology, and she helped humans understand prey species mentality. We evolve differently. Hana told mixed audiences of humans and aliens, but that makes us stronger together. Prey species see threats humans miss. They value life in ways we forget. Predator species see solutions prey species cannot imagine. Together, we are complete. On Earth, Secretary Dae Kim met with military leaders to discuss the future. The galaxy is changing because of us, he said. We need to be careful. Power without wisdom is tyranny. We have been careful, General Bora said. We have shown restraint. So far, Dae agreed. But what happens in 10 years, 20? When humans are spread across the galaxy? When we are stronger? Will we still choose protection over domination? That is up to us, Bora said. We make that choice every day. Back at Union Prime, young Peshtik attended the Defense Academy. He was not strong. He was not fast. But he was determined. On his first day of training, Sergeant Nari paired him with Minho. Yes, Minho had enrolled too. The 16-year-old survivor of New Busan had decided he wanted to make sure no one else suffered what he suffered. You are the human who survived the Korval attack? Peshtik asked nervously. Yeah, Minho said. And you are the guy who spoke at the trial? Yes, I was very scared. Me too, Minho admitted. Still am sometimes. They trained together. Human and alien, predator and prey, learning from each other. One day, Peshtik asked Minho a question that had bothered him. Do you hate me? For being prey? For not being able to fight like you? Minho stopped mid-exercise. No, why would I? Because I am weak. You are not weak, Minho said. You are just different. You see things I miss. You think about solutions I would never consider. That is not weakness. That is just different strengths. Peshtik thought about that. Together we are stronger? Exactly, Minho said with a smile. 5 years after New Busan, the galaxy looked very different. The Korval had tested Union defenses 3 more times. Each time they were stopped by joint human-alien forces. Casualties were minimal. The Union had learned how to protect itself. Human-trained defense fleets patrolled the frontier. Not with violence, not with aggression, but with capability. The galaxy's predators learned quickly that Union space was no longer easy prey. Piracy dropped by 80%. Border conflicts that would have lasted years were resolved in weeks. The galaxy was not more violent. It was more protected. Captain Jiho, now an admiral, sat with Ambassador Yuna in a cafe on Union Prime. 5 years ago, they would have been stared at, feared. Now, humans walked freely among aliens. Children played together in parks. We did it, Yuna said. We proved we could be trusted. We are still proving it, Jiho said. Every day, every choice. We always will be. On New Busan, the colony had been rebuilt. Sergeant Nari, now retired from active duty, ran a school there. Human and alien children learned together. She taught them history, taught them about the attack, about the lessons learned. Why did the Korval attack us? A young alien student asked. Because they thought we were easy prey, Nari said. They were wrong. Because humans are strong? The student asked. No, Nari said. Because humans refuse to be victims. There is a difference. Strength is what you have. Refusal is what you choose. Young Minho, now not so young, served on a mixed cruise ship, half human, half Union species. They patrolled the frontier together. When they encountered a new aggressive species, Minho remembered what Admiral Jiho had said years ago. Let me talk to them first, Minho told his captain. Sometimes predators just need to recognize each other. The new species were aggressive because they were afraid. Afraid of the Union. Afraid of being conquered. Minho understood that fear. We are not here to conquer you, Minho told them. We are here to protect those who cannot protect themselves. If you want to join us, you are welcome. If you want to be left alone, we respect that. But if you attack innocents, we will stop you. The new species looked at the mixed crew behind Minho, at the humans and aliens working together, at the weapons they carried but did not point. You are predators, the alien leader said. Why should we trust you? Because we choose to be more than our nature, Minho said. We evolved to hunt. But we learned to protect. You can too. The new species did not join the Union that day, but they did not attack either. They watched. They learned. And slowly they began to understand. Dr. Hana Kwan, now elderly, gave a lecture at the academy. Her students came from 40 different species. She looked at them with pride. When humanity first joined the Union, we shocked you, Hana said. We were predators among prey.